The Tiger I was a formidable machine that pushed the boundaries of armored warfare and forced the Allies to devise better tanks. The purpose of the Tiger I was meant to forge breakthroughs on the battlefield while destroying enemy tanks at long range while shrugging off hits from lesser Allied anti-tank guns. Overall, the purpose of the Tiger I was to provide the German army with a powerful heavy tank capable of dominating armored battles and ensuring battlefield superiority. Prototypes. In January 1937, Baurat Kneipkamp from the German design office contacted Henschel and Porsche to study the feasibility of a heavy and even super-heavy tanks. In response, Henschel authorized the development of a 30-ton tank prototype called the VK3001H, with specifications including a 75mm KWK L24 gun short barrel with the same amount of crew as the Panzer IV and 50mm of thick armor. By mid-1940, Henschel was ordered to modify the tank to mount the new Krupp 105 turret. At the same time, it was revised internally to accept the new Maybach HL 174 engine, and the hull front had to be 80mm thick, and the total weight of the tank was uplifted to 36 tons. Porsche's first prototype for a heavy tank was launched in late 1939. The Type 100 was the fruit of the collaboration between Porsche and Krupp. Later on, Porsche made a series of modifications to the Type 100 with new engines, increased frontal armor to 100mm, new engine compartment and more fuel storage, and with 60 centimeters wide tracks called the VK4051P. Eventually, both Henschel and Porsche's prototypes were demonstrated in Rastenburg in front of Hitler himself, and both designs were assessed. Overall, Henschel's design won, beating Porsche mainly due to the transmission needed large quantities of copper to manufacture, which Germany had little of. The final Tiger was, consequently, a mix of the parts from previous prototypes by Henschel and Porsche. The turret and gun were retained from Krupp AG Essen's design meant for the VK3601, but the chassis, engine, transmission, and many components were from Henschel's VK4501's final design. Tigers in action. Beginnings in Russia. Production of the Tiger I began in August 1942 at the factory of Henschel & Sohn in Kassel, Germany. Initially at a rate of 25 tanks per month and peaking in April 1944 at 104 per month. The first batch of Tiger tanks arrived on the battlefield in Russia in the fall of 1942. However, the Tiger encountered many teething problems. However, once these were cleared by March 1943, there was nothing to compare. The Tiger was given the license to kill with impunity, well helped by the clear skies and wide expanses of flat, unforested land. With all of that said, the Tiger also had its fair share of problems. While the Tiger I tank was certainly a formidable heavy tank and more than capable of going toe-to-toe with any Allied tank that they could put in the field, the Tiger tank had many critical problems plaguing them that they never overcame. Here are some problems the Tiger had. Low production numbers. The Tiger I were only ever produced in low numbers. Only 1,347 Tiger I's were made. Contrast this with more than 50,000 Shermans built during the war. The Tigers were an extremely expensive luxury that the German war machine simply could not afford. Extremely expensive to make. The Tiger was extremely expensive to make. The price of one Tiger I was equal to the cost of more than 2 Panther IVs, and it wasn't twice as effective, and it cost more than 4 times the cost of a Stug 3 assault gun. The Tiger was expensive, not just in money, but in precious resources like iron that Germany had in very short supply. Poor reliability. The Tigers were also plagued with poor reliability issues, and sourcing the needed parts was often prohibitively difficult. In the height of battle, the last thing you want is for your tank to break down, but they were always suffering from breakdowns and were in constant need of servicing. In comparison, the Tiger I only had a distance of 170 kilometers without the need of servicing. In the meanwhile, a Sherman can go from Normandy to Berlin without breaking down. Over-engineered. The Tigers were also over-engineered. That made them both labor-intensive to build and very expensive to maintain. Germany had limited resources, and the Tiger's production just consumed resources and meant that many other vehicles and systems weren't being produced. To the bitter end. Until mid-1944, none of the Allied tanks had the reach or penetration power to successfully engage a Tiger, at least before the introduction of new models, upgunned Sherman Firefly, and later M476 series of Shermans, and on the Russian side, the T-34-85 and the IS-2. The overall cost of a Tiger was more than that of 4 Stug-3s. There were great expectations that its kill ratio could compensate for the massive combined production of the Allies, but even these 10-to-1 figures proved insufficient to stem the enemy offensives. And by August 1944, production of the Tiger tank ceased in favor of the more superior and favorable Tiger II tank. Today, only 9 Tiger I tanks survive in museums and private collections worldwide, and as of 2023, Tiger 131 at the UK's Tank Museum is the only example restored to running order. Be sure to like and subscribe for more history videos and comment about your opinion and on how should I improve my videos.